large number of words that we use, we learn its meaning by pointing. Okay, that's also called denoting. We just show something and say, oh, that's what the sound refers to. But not all meanings are known through pointing at something. Suppose somebody says, oh, you should be a good person. What is the meaning of the word good? Can we point to good just like you point to chair, the word chair? How do you come to know the meaning of good? So the simplest way is to go to the dictionary and open it and see what they say is the meaning of good. Teachers also might give you some meaning of the words. Now, what if somebody asked you what you mean by good? Let's say a child is coming and asking you, you're telling me I have to be good. I don't know what good means. What should I be? What should I do? You might then say, you will now describe what good means. You can't point out to good like a chair or a ball. You will say, well, good means you have to be kind to others, help others, respect all your classmates. So what you're doing here to tell the meaning of the word good is not pointing to something, but using more words to describe what the word good means. There are many words like this which we use. Even simple words like beauty, justice, respect, many words. You can't just point to them directly, but you describe them through other words. And many times, you may not actually know the exact meaning of the word. And this is something very interesting about language and about reading. It's not necessary that you should know the correct meaning of every word. The trick, as some philosophers point out, is that you will just have to be able to use it correctly. And this is an important part of reading and writing. Actually, there are quite a few words whose meaning you may not be able to clearly state. Neither can you point to them, neither can you describe them. So like good, I could describe with some qualities. Chair, I could point. But there are many other words where you can't do both. And these are the most simplest words which all of you use 100 times a day. They are words like and, an, the, or, is, as. Actually, there are quite a few words whose meaning you may not be able to clearly state. So these are words which you use very commonly, hundreds of times every day. But they are not like the word chair which you can point. They don't refer to an object. Neither are they words like good which you can describe with various qualities. These words are very common and we use it all the time, but yet we don't know what exactly its meaning is. For example, the word and, A and D. You use it all the time. You say apples and oranges. Somebody might ask you, what does the word and mean? I know what the word apple is and what the word orange is because I can point to apple and orange. What is the meaning of the word and? It is also a word. It is also a sound. You could have words like an, the, or, is. The word is so interesting and complicated. You'll have to figure out what does it actually mean. There are different meanings of the word is. Similarly, of, it, if, then, will, be, not. Not is another extremely interesting word. Because what does the word not actually mean? How do you describe the meaning of the word not? So there are many such words. But even though you may not be able to tell clearly what its meanings are, one thing you're very good at, you know how to use it. You can read a text. You can read your class book with all these words and say, yeah, I understand this, whatever, the larger text. And when you write, you use all these words very easily. So one way to say something about meaning is that in all these cases, meaning is nothing but how we use the words in sentences. That is, if you know how to use the word correctly, then we can say that you know its meaning. So even though you may not be able to describe it fully, if you're using it correctly, then obviously you have some idea of its meaning. So here we will pause and think of some various exercises for you to do, because all this learning will come only if you take all this internal inside you and try out exercises, try out these ideas in various examples around you, in your day-to-day examples, not some special examples. So think of a word like good, and ask you and your friends can all sit down and write the different meanings of the word good. Do all of you write the same set of meanings for the word good? Or if somebody asked you what is good, you're using more and more words to describe them? Compare it and see how you understand the meaning of the word good. There's also an interesting game you and your friends can play. Create your own dictionary. Even if it's a small dictionary with 10 or 20 words, that is fine. Start with your own words which you would like. Because after all, where did you get all these words from? Somebody wrote it before you, and then they taught it to you, and then you start using them. So why don't you and your friends start your own words? You agree to decide on the meaning of the words. So let us say from tomorrow you'll say, in my language, I'm not going to use the word chair. I'm going to use some other word. So it's some other sound to stand for chair. And you decide. So a group of you then create your language. See if that is enough. What do these words mean? Why do you create the words that you create with your friends? What kind of words do you create? Once you start doing these exercises, you will learn a lot of very interesting things about language. Because remember, you can create any word you want. You can create the way you will speak to your friends, and none of us will understand it. So, a final exercise which I want you to do is to take a lesson from your book. Just take any lesson and look at that lesson now. Don't try and read the lesson and say, oh, I don't know what the lesson means. What is the lesson trying to say? Forget about all that. Just look at the words. Choose all the words in that lesson which point to something. Where, it might be talking about the mango is, red in color or something like that. You can point to mango, you can point to red. So choose all those words which can point to something. Make a list of that. Make another list of words which cannot be pointed to, but have to be described. So look at all the words and see which words you can understand and describe, which words you cannot, which words you can point, and so on. So that's a way you will begin to understand the nature of language.
The lesson you just heard was conducted by Professor Sundar Sarukkai. It is drawn from the book Philosophy for Children, Thinking, Reading and Writing by Sundar Sarukkai, published by Ektara Trust. Link to buy the book is in the video description below. This series is a production of Barefoot Philosophers, an initiative to bring philosophy to the public and children. For more information, visit our website at www.barefootphilosophers.com.